That's an important question, especially in relation to the Washington Redskins team. And I don't like to use that term because the practice of scalping, for example, you might have heard of, where initially there were bounties that were placed upon indigenous peoples, and the proof of killing indigenous peoples was cutting off of the scalp and taking that by typically the invaders, the traders that would come in, or those that were seeking bounties. And so one of the practices was actually to skin people, skin native people, and they would sell the skins. So it's really graphic, it's really disturbing, but they would use that as part of the bounties. And so Redskins is a very derogatory term on that level. So thank you for asking that question, though. So it's not a happy story. There's worse stories. I mean, if you look at the history of the 7th Cavalry, you look at the Sand Creek Massacre in so-called Colorado, you look at a lot of these massacres, very atrocious crimes were committed by the U.S. military against Native people. But it's very much not recognized. There's an interesting history. For a while, there was these yellow ribbons that the U.S. Army was using. If you ever saw those, there's actually a history of that relating to the 7th Cavalry, because they had yellow neckties, handkerchiefs or neckerchiefs, I don't know what they're called, that they would use. And so when the soldiers would go off, they would give their wives or whatever, significant others, these neckerchiefs, these yellow ones, and they would tie them up at their houses or somewhere in hopes that they would return. And so this history, though, with the 7th Cavalry particularly is that every time they'd go out and massacre Native people, that would be part of it, is that where these yellow ribbons come from. So U.S. military and imperialism is a very ugly history. Thanks for asking, though.